Hello, everybody. What's going on? My name is Joseph. I'm going to be your low budget host of the day. I am back from a hiatus. I've been working on how to do these news videos that I'd like to do. So I've decided I'm just going to cover one news video, and I'm just going to one news story, and I'm just going to do three different videos throughout the week. So I hope you guys enjoy this new version of what I'm doing. And just remember, like, share, subscribe to this channel if you want fun content. And let's get into the story. All right, this is breaking news from today. The Senate has passed its Inflation Reduction Act. And like a lot of bills that the Democrats concoct, this one does the total opposite of what it's advertising. So I'm going to go through some major points in the bill just to kind of give you an idea of what they passed. I'm not going to spend too much time on the things that were left out because the article I'm using talks a lot about stuff they didn't actually put in. So let's let's talk about the stuff they did put in and see where that goes. So the first section of this bill, of course, talked about climate change, naturally. And what KPBS stated about this is more than $300 billion would be invested in energy and climate reform, the largest federal clean energy investment in U.S. history. Now, before I get more into this, I'm just going to preface it by saying I'm not totally against against aspects of environmentalism. I do believe we do need to take care of our planet stuff. I just do not think that we're going about it in the right way. I think that we're not prepared for the amount of drastic changes that a lot of climate activists are pushing for, and I really wish they would listen. But of course, they're not going to listen because activists don't listen, they just shout. That's about all they do. Anyways, let's continue reading. All right. This portion of the bill takes on transportation and electricity generation, and it includes 60 billion for growing renewable energy infrastructure in manufacturing like solar panels and wind turbines. It also includes several tax credits for individuals on things like electric vehicles and making homes more energy efficient. The bill would, according to Democrats, lower greenhouse gas emissions by 40% based on 2005 levels by the end of the decade, which is short of the 50% Biden had originally aimed for. This is a quote from Jesse Jenkins on this. It puts us within a close enough distance that further executive action, state and local government efforts, and private sector leadership could plausibly get us across the finish line by 2030. Okay, first off, that year, 2030 has come up a lot, and it seems to me that I don't understand why these people think that success is going to happen in the span of 8 years, less than 8 years now. That's the first thing. The second thing is the second thing is the sheer amount of money that they're still pouring in, and this isn't even the amount that they wanted to put in. They originally wanted to put in $555 billion into the reforms that they want to do. So already that's a lot of money to be spent. And the last thing is the thing that creeps me out about the statements surrounding this bill is the line, it puts us within a close enough distance that further executive action, state and local government efforts, and private sector leadership could plausibly get us across the finish line. Further executive action. They are wanting to push this through, regardless of whether or not people are going to vote for it. And that also means state and local politicians. This means we have to participate in primaries. Even if you're not interested in politics, you've got to get involved because these people are trying to take control of every level of government. They seem to understand this better than the average person at this point, which I get it. Politics has been pushed into people's faces too much, and I understand that. But we do not need to get tired. What creeps me out about this statement is that they're going to do everything they can, these globalists, I guess, or these people that support um, envir- I'm just going to call it hyper environmentalism. These people that support hyper environmentalism are trying their best to ram through their policies. So just throwing this out, we need to be involved. We need to be vetting whoever we vote for because they are trying to infiltrate every level of government, and they're not making it. They are making it pretty obvious now. They used to be very subtle about this. Now they're being pretty obvious. So please just participate. Vet who you're voting for. Doesn't matter what party they're in. If they've got any World Economic Forum, anything tied to them, do not vote for them. Period. End of story. Anyways, that's my unhinged part of this. Let's get to the next parts of this bill. The next important part of this bill talks about tax reform. So, first line. The legislation creates a 15% minimum tax for corporations making $1 billion or more in income, bringing in more than $300 billion in revenue. Again, the $300 billion in revenue is already spent on the climate stuff, which I can already guarantee you it'll be a lot more in the future. First off, the whole purpose of the minimum corporate tax that they're putting in was to, of course, pay off inflation. That's the inflation and or the deficit. That was how it was advertised. I do not like the idea of a 15% minimum corporate tax rate, because the consumer is going to ultimately have to pay for this, and also who's capping the tax, or who's going to cap the tax rate? What's going to stop them from, say, charging you more for not being environmentally friendly, which is likely going to happen if they're going to start adding taxes to your to how good you are. They're going to start adding fines and stuff to things you do that they would consider to not be economically friendly. Again, they means the people who are right now running everything. So there's that. The other thing I don't like about the 15% minimum corporate tax is it disincentivizes larger corporations from investing into the United States, makes them want to go to other portions of the world. Now, Biden has addressed this with an idea that I do believe will be abused. That is a minimum global corporate tax rate with the United Nations and a lot of other different governmental organizations. And the thing is, there are a lot of countries out there that would not participate in that at all. A lot of them that are desperate enough to have corporations move to their nations so that their people can have jobs. They may give lip service to the global corporate tax, but they will not enforce it. So we are really just screwing ourselves over with this particular thing. And I understand the whole socialistic argument that the bigger corporations don't pay their fair share and stuff, but they do pay their fair share. The problem is our government spends way too much. That's the basic gist of it. So, next part of the bill. So, the last part of the tax section of the bill covers $80 billion to the IRS budget. So, what this means is they will be hiring 80,000 more auditors and agents. Hiring more people. Okay, I'm not comfortable with the IRS as an institution anyways, only because it makes sense to have an agency that can vet taxes and stuff, but because our government's bureaucracies are slightly too majorly incompetent, I already don't like the idea of the IRS being that big, and I also think that $80 billion to an institution that already makes enough money off of people as it is highly unnecessary. So, yeah, that's the last big important section of this bill. Overall, I really think that this is just another desperate attempt for Democrats to gin up their voter base. Because they know that they're going to have a hard time with the midterms. I'm thinking in the future, I'm going to cover more midterm type news just to give you an idea of how desperate the Democrats actually are this year. And I really hope that people go out, participate in the November election. We desperately need to do this. Unfortunately, this bill likely will pass Congress and will get signed. So, regardless of what ends up happening in the midterms, we're still going to end up paying for everything that just happened with this bill. So, that is the rest of this video. I hope you guys had a great time listening to this. I know I went on a couple of different tangents, but I'm just going to try to keep these videos under 15 minutes if at all possible. And of course, thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and have a nice Sunday. See y'all.